Well, it's back to school time, and parents and students are getting ready for a new school year, and that means getting back into a routine. And how to safely do that? Well, we went to the pros for advice. I'm pleased to be joined today by Alyssa Mangini, who is a physician assistant with the Lehigh Valley Health Network.
Well, thanks for having me, Lisa. And yeah, there's a few things that families can do to prepare for the upcoming school year. So simple things like getting appointments with your dentist, your eye doctor. You remember that kids are going to be looking at computer screens or whiteboards, chalkboards. So headaches can be a common problem for kids who are in need of glasses. So it's best to get that checked out. They also make glasses with blue light filters that help dim the glare from computer screens. So those are important things. Vaccinations are definitely required for certain grades. So kindergarten, sixth, and seniors have certain vaccines that the state requires them to be up to date with.
So it's important that parents keep on the ball with this each and every year to know what is required. And I'm sure the school district provides all the information that they need as well. But we also have to get on, I remember this from when my kids were going back to school. You have to get back in the swing of, going to bed at a good time, designating study times and habits and eating properly. So what would you recommend for parents watching this?
Yeah, so you're right. Routine is real important for a lot of people, especially young children. So, with only a couple weeks before school starts, now is a good time to start getting back into those habits because you can do it a little more gradually than just kind of thrusting them back into it. Plus, it's a good time to get us back on track, getting used to that. So sleep schedules are really important. The other thing, too, is meal prepping. So even if it's just as simple as getting snacks ready, a couple days in advance. So each morning it's not a frantic, chaotic, schedule trying to get everything together last minute, that everything's just easy, ready to go, get everybody out the door, less stress.
Absolutely. And one thing we have to take into consideration these days, which we didn't have to years ago, is the tech time, the time on their phones, the time on the video games, because that can interfere with their studies and how they perform.
Sure. Yeah. And, for years, we've encouraged parents to limit screen time. But as technology has become more and more a part of our daily lives, that's really hard to do. So you want to make sure that we're getting a good balance of the screen time that's required to get their work done and allowing them some time for things that they enjoy to do to relax a bit, but then overall not letting them just come home and spend the rest of the evening on technology. It's good for our eyes and our brain to be getting outside or being involved in other activities. So finding that balance of allowing them some enjoyment with it, and obviously some time that they have to for work and school, but not letting it take over the rest of the day.
We have to worry too, I guess, about them getting exercise, period, because nowadays the kids like to stay inside and be on these things, but they need to get out and run around too.
Yeah, and that's a hard thing because sports are not going to be the answer for every child. And so sometimes you have to get creative about how do we get our families active. And I always encourage families to find ways to be active as a family. So going on family walks or, again, with screen time on TV, there's so many channels and things that you can access to do home exercises and regimens. So there's lots of ways to incorporate it into your life. And I think it's always best done as a family unit. If the child is not specifically involved in a sport, so that we're all staying healthy and active.
And one other thing too, I know, is eating correctly. I used to have the battle all the time with my kids. You have to eat breakfast before you go to school. Yeah. And kids are always in a hurry, but how important is that they eat their regular meals and get the proper nutrition?
Yeah. So it's important that they don't skip meals, especially because at school they don't have access to snacking as often as they would when they're home for the summer. So making sure that they're getting something in the morning, even if it's a breakfast bar or a protein bar. So something small, quick, get their metabolism started for the day, making sure their blood sugar stays level. That helps keep kids from getting cranky, helps them with focus. So it's important that we're encouraging them to get proper nutrition instead of, succumbing, like I said, to sort of that rat race where you're just skipping things and trying to get everywhere you need to quickly and then saying, oh, it's not a big deal, but it really can be for a lot of people.
Today's news feature is brought to you by Feisner's Ford in Freeland, who is celebrating 75 years in business. Give them a call at 570-636-3920, or you can log on to feisnersford.com.